Hello, this is Marty Owings, and we're here at the Capitol where today a special session is taking place. The reason for that, the governor and legislative leaders came to agreement late last night at about 11:40 p.m. and let the press know that although they agreed in principle about the specifics surrounding a budget deal, they still had a lot to hammer out. So the special session started at about 12:01 this morning and will run through 7 a.m. tomorrow morning. So behind us in the Capitol, legislators are working to finish up those details and get a firm plan with bills back to the governor for his signature so they can wrap up the 2017 legislative session. One measure that did pass between the governor and legislative leaders was to not issue driver's licenses to undocumented immigrants. That was one sticking point that Governor Dayton had originally stood firm on, but eventually capitulated out through the process of negotiation. After weeks of tough negotiations with the governor, GOP leaders, including Senator Paul Gazelka, the majority leader in the Senate, said he was glad to have a deal done. The deal cements $46 billion in spending over the next 2 years. Governor Dayton called the special session to complete, among other things, a budget for roads and bridges, education, and health and human services. The agreement between Governor Dayton and legislative leaders came just minutes before the clock was to expire on the session. Among the many sticking points throughout the negotiating sessions was funding for education, K-12 early childhood development that Governor Dayton was going to stand firm on. In addition to that, there was higher education funding and funding for health and human services. There's some storm clouds over the Capitol right now because the extra session isn't quite done yet. Legislators and the governor finished negotiations last night in principle, but they didn't actually get all the bill work done and everything that needs to take place to wrap up the session. So tonight, lawmakers are going through those bills with a fine-tooth comb, doing some last-minute negotiations, reconciliations, I'm sure with their colleagues in the Senate and House, and then the bills will be completed for review, then they'll go to the governor for signature. Lawmakers here are hoping to wrap up the session by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning, but as Representative Paul Thiessen said, former Speaker of the House, when we passed him today in the hall, he wasn't sure if that was going to happen or not. We may or may not be in the final hours of the legislative session, this extra session or special session, but if there are any updates or breaking news, we'll bring it to you from the Capitol. This is Marty Owings. So long, everybody.